Vendors staring down a pile of signage samples face a weirdly emotional decision, believe it or not. Cardboard versus plastic sounds boring until you realize it is basically a tiny referendum on how much this whole event cares about the planet. Here's the thing nobody tells you at first. Compostable and recyclable are not the same superpower, even though they get lumped together like they are twins at a costume party. Compostable materials are built to break down into dirt, literally turning into nutrients for soil in a matter of weeks or months. Recyclable materials are built to survive, get shredded, melted, and reborn as something else entirely, like a phoenix but less dramatic. So the first question a vendor asks is simple. What happens to this sign after the event ends? Because that answer changes everything downstream. If a sign is getting tossed straight into a compost bin at a farmer's market, compostable material makes total sense there. But if that same sign ends up in a landfill instead, all that compostable magic just sits there doing nothing special. That is the sneaky trap vendors have to think through. A material can be perfectly green on paper and still behave terribly if the event site has zero composting infrastructure. Now flip it around and look at recyclable signage. It only works if there is an actual recycling stream nearby that accepts that specific material, which is not guaranteed everywhere. Plenty of small towns and one-time pop-up venues simply do not have industrial recycling pickup. So a vendor hauling beautiful recyclable foam board to a rural fairground might be solving a problem that does not exist there. This is where life cycle thinking comes in, and it sounds fancier than it is. You're basically asking, from birth to death, does this sign do more good than harm, counting the trees or oil used to make it too? A compostable sign made from corn-based plastic still needed farmland, water, and energy to exist in the first place. So even the eco-friendly option has a cost. It just shows up earlier instead of later. Reuse changes the whole equation, and honestly, it is the cheat code vendors love most. A sturdy recyclable sign that gets used at 20 different events over 2 years might beat a compostable sign that gets used once and composted. Think of it like a reusable water bottle versus a paper cup. One trip does not decide the winner. It is the whole season of trips that matters. Vendors also have to read the room, literally, because a client hosting a zero-waste wedding wants totally different materials than a corporate trade show. The trade show client usually cares more about durability and rebranding signs for the next event. So smart vendors end up building a little decision tree in their head. Ask about disposal access first, ask about reuse potential second, and only then pick compostable or recyclable. Nobody hands you a rulebook for this. You kind of build the instincts event by event, learning from what actually worked. If you want to learn more about how event businesses like these actually run behind the scenes, check out our links in the description.